Hello, back again to do another unboxing and review. Today I'm going to look at this brand new pair of wireless bone conduction headphones. I had these imported from China. Apparently they're from a brand called S.Wear, and these are the R9. So right up top here, I'll briefly cover what the big deal with bone conduction is for the few that may not know. So if you look at your typical earbuds or earpods or whatever, they have a membrane that oscillates. That causes a pulse of air molecules to hit your eardrum, which then vibrates, and then that gets changed into sound, which you perceive as sound. So by contrast, bone conduction does not sit over your ear canal, but instead it sits forward, just a little forward of your ear. So it's like on the side by your cheekbones, okay? And it vibrates, and those vibrations go through your skin, your tissue, and all that, and they end up arriving at your eardrum. And again, that vibrates and you detect that as sound. So what's the big deal? Well, it allows your ear canal to stay open so that if you're riding a bike or whatever, and you can still hear sounds from your surrounding environment. So it's kind of a safety issue, I guess. Okay, so now let's talk about why I'm even reviewing these. Now, if you watch my channel, you know that I've actually already reviewed, I believe, 2 pairs of bone conduction headphones. And that was a couple years ago when actually not many people were even onto the whole bone conduction deal. And those were very good. I especially like the aftershocks. Feel free to go look at my channel if you want to see the review of the aftershocks. But I found that I liked them so much that I was really being sparing on them, so I wouldn't just take them anywhere, right? I didn't want to lose them or get them damaged, and I found out because of that I really wasn't getting the full use of that headset. So I set off to go find something that was considerably more affordable, and I wouldn't be so hesitant to take it out with me anywhere and everywhere I went. So that's where these come in. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the specifications. These specs that I'm going to scroll in front of the camera here, I got from the seller's website. So I just basically copied and pasted them so you can see. And hopefully they'll match with what the actual specs of the item are. So let's go ahead and look at those now. Okay, and one thing I'd like to point out is you can see here that says model number R19. Well, if we look at, they actually say R9, so I'm going to go with what's on the box as being the correct model number. Alright, so now let's go ahead and take a look around the box. So you've already kind of seen this, but up close you can see they kind of have a picture of the item. I should say that this does come in 2 different colors. I mean, you have a choice between 2 different colors. And I got the dark gray. The other option was white. So where the color differs is right here. Wherever you see gray, this dark gray, that would be white. However, I believe the band that goes around the back of your neck is still black, and the buttons are still black no matter what color you get. Alright, so yeah, we have the model number. Okay, we have this little here, love music, love cool. Alright, and then of course bone conduction headphones, what they are. Now, if you probably notice there's something missing here, and that is the brand. I had to look up on the seller's website to even figure out what brand this was. So I'm not sure why, if it is in fact S.Wear, I don't know why that's not up, like right here. I mean, I don't know. So anyway, maybe we'll look around the box, but I haven't seen it so far. Okay, and then we have on the side here these little icons, kind of giving you an idea where these would be good to use. And you see they're all like kind of in an active situation, running, cycling, and driving, where hearing your surrounding environment could be life-saving and also working. So if your coworker needs to ask you a question, you can answer and not get in trouble for not paying attention to your coworkers. Okay, here we are, the healthy, lightweight, sweat-proof. Notice we did not get an IP rating for these, so at least not that I've seen so far. So I would just assume that they are what you call weatherproof. So, light rain and whatnot, and of course sweat, you should still be okay. Do not swim with them, would be my guess. Alright, ears free, that should be pretty obvious by at this point, and smart charging. I don't quite know what they're getting at here. I assume it just has a circuit inside so it doesn't overcharge and whatnot. Although, again, they didn't tell me anything about that. I'm just guessing there. All right, so the top R9, minimalism to beauty. Right. I mean, yeah, I guess they're pretty minimalistic, but I don't know how much more crazy you would go with them anyway. But yeah, okay, they look pretty slick. Okay, and then on the back, so here are the specifications that they decided to print on the box. I'll just let you know, I've already checked these with the sheet that you saw earlier, and that all seems to match up, so that's good. They explain how to wear them, and although this might sound like, yeah, no joke, right? But I have actually seen people put bone conduction headphones over their ear canal like their regular headphones. So, yeah, maybe that needs to be said. All right, you can see made in China. Interestingly, here we have manufacturer information, so a space for that. So, I'm starting to wonder if these are kind of a unbranded, what do you call it, white label. But apparently they're from S.Wear, but I have yet to actually confirm that. So these could be unbranded generic. That does not necessarily mean that they're poor quality. It just means that these are meant to be sold by some third party, right? Okay, so, all right, and then there we go, made in China. All right, so overall impressions of the packaging, it works. I would like to see a little more specs on the back. Like I was saying, the IP rating, if there is any. It said on the paper that again with the specs I got from the seller's website, that it was Bluetooth version 5.0. Notice I didn't see that on the back. So more specs would be good. And again, with the whole name of the manufacturer not being here, since we're not sure if this is an unbranded generic or not, I'm not going to really dock it for that. And the other thing I did like about it, though, how the packaging is, it's in a hard box. I know that might not seem like a big thing, but especially when you're having this imported, these kind of boxes really do help protect the item. I've got numerous electronics that the box is completely smushed, and you just have to cross your fingers and hope that the item isn't damaged. So a box like that's always a good thing for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the unboxing. Alright, so there was no seal on this. It's just one of these, shake it to have it drop out. Alright, so nothing on the inside cover, and there we are. So we have a little box. I assume this is the charging cable. Okay, so there we go, R9. So okay, we know the model. Now looking here, I'm looking at this because over here on the specs I showed you earlier, it gave what does it say, standby time of 10 days. Although we'll notice here it says 8 days. Okay, 6 hours of music playing. Yep, that matches up. And then 6-hour phone call. Well, okay, I didn't talk about phone calls on the other thing, but so we may have lost 2 days of standby time if this is more correct. All right, no easy to fall off. Yeah, all right, great, that's a plus. And then there's nothing on this bag. So let's just open this up and see what's in here. Okay, so we have some earplugs. Then they talk about how you're supposed to roll it first and insert it. And if you've worked in the industry, you should know how to put these on. But, okay, well, I'll come back to those in a sec. Let's see what else is in here. Okay, so, yeah, micro USB. It did say about that on the specs, so that's consistent. And then there seems to be some instructions in here. User manual. Excellent. And, okay, so you can see this side is, in fact, in English. And then the other side, alright, and that side, I don't know if it's coming up, but that side is in Chinese. Okay, so I'll look at that later. Now let's get back to these ear plugs. I have a couple ideas of why they might have given you these to you. If you are in a safe environment and you don't need to be constantly aware of your surroundings through use of sound, you could maybe opt to put these in, and therefore without the distraction of the surrounding environment, I assume you'd get you would be able to focus more on the music coming out of the headphones. I'm guessing that's what these are for. And yeah, all right. So now let's go ahead and look at the actual item. Okay, so they are held in place by this foam here, which is good. So we got a nice heavy-duty box and also some foam to hold them in place. Which is a lot more than can be said of some other sellers. Anyway, okay, so here they are. Now, wait, there was a little, before we get to these, there was this little cone here, like a little warning sign. Oh, okay, it's a QC sticker, or, well, QC card in, yeah, triangle form. Cool. All right, so anyways, here is the item. All right, so, yeah, anyways, so this here's plastic. This here's kind of like a rubbery, yeah, well, yeah, so it should be nice on your ears. It's soft, and if I rub my finger over it, it doesn't, yeah, it's not abrasive, so that's good, because of course this is going to be going around your ear. This will be hanging out in front of your ear canal. It looks like we have some buttons there, so, up, hold on a second. Oh, okay. So this I'm going to assume is play, pause. This here looks to be the power symbol, and also volume up, or maybe track up, and then of course mine is track down, volume down. And there does appear to be a hole there. I'm not sure if that's an LED or a microphone. And again, I didn't read the instructions, so I'm just kind of guessing at this. If there's anything I say incorrect, I'll update you later. Alright, and then on this side, this doesn't appear to be, it's just a cap, so I don't think those are buttons. And then you don't seem to have any controls on this one here. So yeah, all your controls are on one side. Then let's go ahead and look at this. Again, this will be behind your neck, and it's, I don't know if you can see. So that band does maintain the shape. It does obviously move, but it springs back to its default position. So again, it says not easy fall off, remember? Okay, now let's go ahead and look at this, the actual business part of this. So yeah, these are rubber or maybe silicone, not sure, but okay. Oh yeah, and you can see how there's a little give. It does go in and out a little bit. I don't want to push too hard, but yeah, there's obviously some give there. You can kind of see it. Again, I'm not going to push it too hard. I don't want to break it. So yeah, that's what will be touching the side of your head. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and, so first impression is it's pretty much what I thought they'd look and feel like. So far it's looking pretty good. Yeah, so alright, I am going to definitely go charge these up now. Alright, so I had the chance to charge these up. It did not take the full time to charge, so I'm going to guess that they shipped these at least partially charged. But whatever state you get them in as far as how much charge when you first take them out of the box, you definitely want to make sure that you give them the full charge time. It even tells you that in the instructions, and that's just good practice with all these gadgets that come with this type of battery. Okay, anyway, so moving on. Here earlier I wasn't sure if this pinhole was a mic or a LED. It is in fact the status LED. The microphone here is on the bottom. See that pinhole? Okay. Other thing is where to charge it. I didn't show you this earlier, but on the side that has all the buttons, there's a little door back here with this little rubber cap, silicone cap, and there's where you go ahead and charge it. Okay, now let's talk about weight. The weight of these is 1.2 ounces. So yes, they are quite light. I just put them on real quick and they feel very comfortable. So that's a plus. Even before I've tried them out, they already feel good. Okay, and there's one other thing I want to... Oh, yeah. Go ahead and read the instructions for all the different commands. As you can imagine, this button here has numerous functions depending on when you push it and how long you push it and all that good stuff. So read the instructions. Some things aren't quite as obvious as you may think. Is for example, fast-forwarding tracks. Fast-forwarding tracks, according to the instructions, is you double-tap this. And I mean, you may think it was using one of these buttons, because after all, to go back a track, you use the minus, right? So you'd assume forward would be plus, but no, it's double tap that. So just little things like that, you'll want to get familiar with the commands. But overall, they're all pretty much standard if you've ever used a headset like this. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try them out now. Alright, so I had the chance to use these, and I will in fact tell you they do work. So great. Let's talk about setup. It's pretty straightforward if you paired any Bluetooth device, but the quick rundown is you turn them on by holding in the power button, and then once they're on, you push and hold this for 3 seconds. This light will go blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. At that point, they're ready to pair. Search for them on your smartphone, tablet, whatever, and they should come up under discovered devices as R9. So pretty easy to find. And once you pair them, I didn't have these on my head when I paired them, but I do believe I heard these say something like paired. So apparently they're voice prompts as well. To let you know what status it's in. But if you don't want to use voice prompts, you can always look at the flashing LED, and depending on what color it is and how it's flashing, will let you know what status it's in. Alright, so now on to how they sound. So right after I paired them with my phone, I went and opened up some music and just started listening to different songs. And the first thing I found out I had to do is I had to put the volume to max. So I hit volume up to the got to max. You'll know when you get there because this emits an auditory beep 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 like kind of warning that you've hit max volume. At that point, they're okay. I mean, I can hear my song and it sounds like I would probably normally listen to with these. Of course, I wouldn't have to have these anywhere close to max because after all, these are jammed in my ear. But for these, you'll probably have to go to volume max to get satisfactory volume. Okay. Now, so what do they sound like? Well, I could recognize the song I was listening to, and overall I was enjoying it, so good. As far as raw power, though, you're going to get more power out of something like this. Although with these, it's interesting. These are louder, but you feel the bass with these, as where you hear the bass more with this. So on a volume level, these have more power, but these have more feeling, because of course these are vibrating in tune with the bass hits. Okay, so but at that point, after listening to a while, I remembered these came shipped with this, and I thought, well, you know what, let me try that. So I kept the volume at the same level, which was max, and I went ahead, I didn't put these in, instead I just put my fingers in my ears. So doing that, then these really kind of went into their own as far as performance, because now, even though the volume hasn't changed, effectively it sounds louder because, again, you're not getting any interference noise from the outside because your fingers are in your ears, or you have something like these jammed in your ears. And now the volume is, I'd say, now more at a satisfactory level, and you can actually feel the bass vibrating inside your head due to these pads. So with your ears plugged, these actually, in some sense, are even more enjoyable to use than your conventional earbuds. But without your ears plugged, these are more like a substitute for this. Alright, so I wanted to give you a little demo of what these sound like. But I'm going to, instead of putting these on the microphones of the camera, I'm going to go ahead and show you what these sound like if you don't have them on, but you're very close to these when they're active. Okay, so let me set that up. Alright, so I got the things paired. I have the headphones paired with my LG V60. So I'm going to go ahead and play a little musical sample for you. Alright, so here we go. Go ahead and start it now. Okay, so by that you were obviously able to hear it. I mean, I could hear it, and I'm even farther away than you are right now. Okay, so if you're anything like me, at this point you're probably asking, but wait, if I can hear these even though I'm not wearing them, how are they really any different than something like this, a conventional earbud, right? So I decided to do an experiment. So what I did is, since these were already paired with my phone, I went out, pulled out my MP3 player. Hey, remember those? Anyway, I pulled out my MP3 player, put these in my ears the normal way, cranked up the volume to the point that it's actually uncomfortable, took these out because it was loud, took these out of my ears, and then put them on the side of my head like how you wear these, And guess what happened? I couldn't hear hardly anything. So apparently what's going on here is actually more than just mounting these on a cool little holder. So yes, these are doing something different than these. Alright, so as far as answering and making phone calls, they work. I had someone call me. Both my phone was ringing with its ringtone, and these also have their own little unique ringtone as well. So double the noise as far as incoming ringing. Went ahead and pushed this button here. It answers the phone call. I had them read like a magazine that was in front of them, and I was able to understand what they were saying. I asked them on their end how did it sound, and they said it sounded like a normal phone call. So in regard to phone calls, they work. Alright, so I wanted to cover how they are to wear with, say, eyeglasses or sunglasses or any pair of glasses on your head. Now, if you're wearing glasses that have a real thin bow, then absolutely no problem. You won't even notice any different from just normal. Okay, and if you wear something that has thicker bows, like we'll say a pair of safety glasses, then these will still work. It's just that your earlobe is going to stick out a little further than normal because essentially the bow of the glasses will go right alongside this. So you'll have this and the bow from the glasses. So just look at the thickness here and count that as how much further your earlobe will stick out. But very wearable, and there should be no problem. So yeah, they can be worn with glasses. Alright, so let's talk about battery life now. To test it, I did 2 different runs, and each run was kind of a different scenario. So let's get to that now. I'll put up my results here. Alright, so here's the first scenario, the one which I said was mainly the headset just being paired, except for 2 short phone calls and 3 minutes of music, which was 1 song. All the rest of the time it was just paired, or on standby, however you want to call it. Okay, so you can see I started at 9 in the morning with 100% charge in the headset. At 6:30 in the evening, it was at 80%. So that gives you 20% used in 9.5 hours. All right, now let's go to the other scenario. In this scenario, I essentially started at 100% battery life, started watching a video. It was a YouTube documentary, and there was no loud music or heavy bass. Essentially, it was just people talking. Okay, so when I stopped watching it at 33 minutes and 52 seconds. And that, again, I used 20% of the battery. So if we look at this, you can, let's see, if 20% was 30, let's just say 30 minutes to round down. So if 20/30, that means you would get, what, 5 times 30 minutes, so 5 half hours is what, 2.5 hours, actually a little longer. But yeah, you'll go get about 2.5 hours if you're just watching a video, again, where there's not super heavy bass or loud music. And of course here, that's you get quite a bit of standby time if you use it like that. Alright, so I'm going to quickly summarize how these are to use and also convey a couple disclaimers that I have to make sure I get out. So let's start. The disclaimer is that I've only used these for 2 days. So if the components in here, like these drivers, if they last a week, a month, a year plus, I can't say. All I know is that for the 2 days I used them, they're working great. Alright, the next thing is I want to talk about volume level. If you are a person that needs your music so loud that your ears are ringing after you take out your earbuds for like the next hour, just skip these because these aren't going to give you that intense volume. But also realize these are meant not to do that because after all, you're supposed to be able to hear the surrounding environment. So you keep that in mind. Now, let's go ahead and get to the conclusion. Would I recommend these? For what I bought them for, again, an affordable pair of bone conduction headphones that I can take with me, and if I do lose them, I won't be heartbroken. This more than met that expectation. They actually work a little better than I thought they would, and at the price point that these come in at, now, talking about price, remember, that's going to depend on who you get it from and where you get it from, but I can say you shouldn't have to pay much over $30 for these. You might even be able to get a little under $30. All right, so around that, they're more than worth that. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with them, and I might even order a second pair. So, yeah, I think that means I kind of like them a little bit.